예, 안녕하십니까. 저는 호텔 앞에 와 있는데요. 내일 대회가 있어서 거기 코스 사전 답사를 하러 갈 건데요. 한번 사전 답사를 가서 코스를 한번 같이 탐색을 해보시죠.
네, 저는 지금 랭리에 나와 있고요. 길 자체는 지금까지는 평지이고 되게 길이 나쁘진 않습니다. 이렇게 쭉 평지만 나 있는 길만 가면은 너무 편하고 좋겠죠? 내일 대회도 이렇게 길이 평탄하기를 바라봅니다. 내일 비가 안 온다고는 했는데 100% 확실한 건 없으니 내일 가서 비가 안 오면은 대회를 열심히 뛰고 그 다음에 랭리에서 하루 묵을 때 또 한번 그 지역 답사를 좀 해보도록 하겠습니다. 좋습니다. 네, 코스 답사 때 또 뵈시죠.
여러분, 와, 경치가 와 끝내줍니다. 야, 한번 VOB로 1인칭으로 감상하시죠. 야, 굉장하지 않습니까? 야, 너무 좋습니다. 자, 이제 코스 답사 때 또 뵙기로 하겠습니다. 네, 안녕하십니까. 저는 Thunderbird Circuit 레이스의 시작점에 와 있습니다. Hey guys, I'm at the start point of Thunderbird Circuit race. 이 코스는 저는 카테고리 5이기 때문에 레저 라이더, 그래서 48km 정도 도는 코스가 되겠습니다. 근데 한 바퀴는 6km 정도 되고요. So I'm a category 5 rider that is trying out the course once again this year, and since I'm a category 5, the total distance covered will be around 48 kilometers. From what I could see on the course that I have loaded on my 4Runner 965, and each lap was about 6 kilometers long. So what I'm gonna do right now is to show you guys a full lap with a first-person view mounted on a my pendant mount for my Go 3S. 자, 이제 한 바퀴를 돌면서 코스를 보여드릴 건데요. Thunderbird Circuit 레이스의 코스가 되겠습니다. 자, 그러면은 감상하시죠.
Okay then, let's go for it.
So at the race start comes up a left turn onto the course.
During the actual event, it's a control course, so you'll be riding on the road. And I will try to be on the road as much as possible as long as there are no cars behind me. 대회 경기 중간에는 자전거 도로가 아닌 도로에서 통제하에 대회를 진행하게 되고요. 지금 차들이 조금 다니는 관계로 자전거 도로를 더 많이 이용할 생각이나 차가 뒤에 안 온다는 상황들 속에서만 좀 길에서 더 많이 타보도록 하겠습니다. 자, 여기가 이제 스프린트 하시는 구간이고요. 그래서 sprinting segment. 사전 답사를 이렇게 진행하면은 좋은 점이 코스의 굴곡들이나 경사도 같은 거를 좀 더 잘 체감하면서 체험을 할 수 있기 때문에 대회 때 도움이 될 것 같습니다. 이번이 제가 해보는 대회의 첫 사전 답사인데요. 이렇게 하는 만큼 좋은 성적이 있기를 바라겠습니다만 많은 기대는 안 합니다. 작년에 레이스를 뛰었을 때 제 성적은 그렇게 좋지 못했거든요. 지금 뛰는 이 대회는 기재 트러블 때문에 한 바퀴 돌고 DNF 처리가 되었습니다. 그리고 두 번째 대회는 Thunderbird Circuit이라는 대회였는데, 그 대회도 꼴찌에서 머물다가 완주만 하는 걸로 만족을 했던 기억이 있습니다. So this is maybe like 2 to 3% grade right here. I think this is where people would get up from their saddle and start dancing away, trying to catch up to the group or trying to lead the group. Followed by a small sprinting segment. Which of course I might not be sprinting it all the way. If I'm last place, just like last year, you know, finishing is more important for me at this stage. I'm category 5. Coming up to a small bend, followed by what it looks like 4 to 5% gradient. Oh, this is gonna be a tough one. I'm sure everybody's gonna be flying through these, but oh, yeah, this is gonna be tough tomorrow. Okay, coming up to a railroad portion. Hazard here. Be careful for the slot. There's a road work. Some bumps here and maybe between 1 and 3% grade. And this portion looks like between 0 and 1%. But it feels mostly flat here. Okay, and we're coming out to a small downhill, followed by a small uphill. The downhill portion is maybe negative 2-ish%, and then uphill 2-ish%. Okay, and this portion was like between 0 and 1%. And I'm coming up to a right-hand turn at the stop sign. So since it's not a race, I'm actually stopping at stop signs. Okay, and coming up to descent with grades maybe negative 1% here, and probably what it looks like negative 3 to 4% grade descent. I think this is a portion where people would have speeds up to 50 kilometers per hour. Okay, on the flat, very slight uphill, maybe between 0 and 1% grade. Here's the current location. Slight descent, maybe between 0 and negative 2. Coming up to maybe 3 to 4% uphill grade. Okay. Followed by another descent, short descent, maybe negative 3 to 4% grade. Coming up to, oh, this one looks like maybe 5 to 6% grade uphill. But I think a lot of people will be using their momentum to carry their bikes forward. Okay, coming up to a slight right bend, which has a negative gradient.
Turn right in 115.593 meters, turn left, approaching left turn.
The slope seems to be, I don't know, between 0 and negative 1% all throughout the bend. Short flat segment here, and coming up to a descent. And the descent, the slope seems to be Anywhere from -4 to -7. Coming up to a right turn. Again, this is not a race day, so I'm stopping at every stop sign. Slight downward slope, maybe -1 to -2%. And coming up to a slight uphill. Looks like between 0 and 1%. Hazards, you've seen the orange markings. Beware of the hazards on the road. Okay, coming up to a downward slope section. Looks like it's between -5 and -7. And an upward slope that is maybe between 3 and 4%. All pretty short hills, but pretty frequent throughout the course. Now back there, there wasn't really, oh, okay, hazard, potholes. It's a good thing that all the potholes are marked with orange markers. Pretty easy to see and avoid if possible. I don't know how easy it'll be to avoid all those in a pack. Pothole and another pothole. This is that one's a dangerous one. Yep. And this was a mostly flat to 0 to 1% slope. And then coming up to a very slight descent. This is more like a flat, but of course, hazard was railroad tracks. Could be slippery. There's slots you have to be aware of. Uphill slope with grade maybe between 1 and 2%. Pothole, again marked with orange. And so far, I don't think I've seen any unmarked deep potholes that could throw somebody off. Oh, I've just seen one. Anyways, here is one lap done. Okay, that was one lap. And actually, before I end this lap, I'm just going to show you that unmarked pothole, since that is the direction that we're traveling. So just coming up to that initial lap point here, 1, 2, those are unmarked potholes. That are deep enough. All right, so that is a lap. 자, 한 랩을 통과했는데요. 생각보다 낙타등이 많고 관성을 좀 이용해 가지고 넘어가야 되는 어필이 많은 것 같습니다. So I think there are lots of small descents and ascents, but they're usually in close series of each other. So I think the strategy to follow is to use the momentum gained from downhill cycling to get up the
hills. It'll be kind of tricky in a group to constantly maintain that small gap while utilizing full momentum to climb up hills. But I don't know. At category 5, probably it doesn't really matter, because for me, I think I'll be pretty distanced from groups. If dangerous situations start spiraling out of control, I'm just going to distance myself and stay safe rather than stay competitive. At the end of the day, my goal is to finish the race and not get the podium results. Since I'm a leisure rider, I don't get any points, upgrade points for UCI. So yeah, that was one lap of Thunderbird Circuit. 오케이, 바이. 시청해주셔서 감사합니다. 이 대회를 뛰신다면은 이 대회 그 사전 답사 영상이 도움이 되셨기를 바라고요. 힘내서 화이팅 하시고 좋은 결과 있기를 바랍니다. 바이.